It's just the devastating list. So, Alice, I came across this Japanese forum post that honestly left me speechless. This guy just laid out his entire life situation, and it's… wow. Oh no, what happened? He literally made a list. Middle school dropout, male, 5'2", former truant, kicked out of Correspondence High School, rejected from 35 part-time jobs, has a criminal record, banned from Hello Work. Wait, what's Hello Work? That's Japan's government job center. Imagine being so problematic, they ban you from the place that's supposed to help unemployed people find work. Currently jobless, in the developmental disorder gray zone, destroyed company equipment during day labor, balding, 0 friends, and has a heart condition. Jesus Christ, that's a lot to unpack. How do you even get banned from a job center? The Hello Work incident. Other users were asking the same thing. Turns out he had a tantrum at Hello Work and got himself banned. A tantrum? Like what kind of tantrum? The post doesn't go into detail, but knowing Japanese work culture and how formal these government offices are, it must have been pretty bad. People were genuinely shocked that getting banned from Hello Work was even possible. I mean, I get frustrated at government offices too, but to actually get banned? And what about the criminal record? Someone asked what he did, and he said it was threat-related. Just those 2 words. That's all the detail he gave. Yikes. So we're talking about someone who's essentially locked out of normal society at every level. The comparison game. But here's where it gets interesting. Other users started comparing their own situations. One guy posted his own list. High school graduate, 5 and 6, also kicked out of correspondence school, has a history of abandoning jobs, no criminal record, unemployed, also in the developmental disorder gray zone, full head of hair, 0 friends, so like slightly better in some ways, right? And he specifically noted he doesn't have a criminal record. There's this weird hierarchy of rock bottom that emerged in the thread. That's so Japanese though, isn't it? Even when comparing how terrible your life is, there's still this sense of ranking and social comparison. Exactly. And then a 39-year-old middle school dropout joined the conversation, but plot twist, he actually has a job. Everyone was like, "You're elite compared to us." Nyanash, the welfare debate. Okay, but seriously, what's this guy supposed to do? He's basically unemployable at this point. That's exactly what other users said. Multiple people told him to apply for welfare. One person put it perfectly. They said welfare exists for people exactly like him, and it's actually a safety net that protects society from people who might turn to crime out of desperation. That's surprisingly thoughtful for an anonymous forum, right? But the original poster seemed hesitant, worried about being criticized for taking welfare. Someone else reassured him it was totally fine, that it prevents him from potentially harming others, which benefits everyone. I love how brutally practical that reasoning is. It's not just about helping him, it's about protecting society too. Unexpected social advice. Then this person who claimed to be extroverted jumped in with relationship advice. They were like, "I don't really get it since I'm outgoing. But isn't making friends just about being nice to people? If you're nice, people will be nice back." Oh no, that's such typical extrovert advice. Just be yourself. Just talk to people. But actually, other users built on that idea in a surprisingly wise way. Someone said, if you approach interactions with the attitude of, "I don't care if they hate me," you're actually less likely to be hated. That's actually not terrible advice. And another person added that even if people do dislike you, over time, they just think, that's just how that person is, and you learn to accept yourself that way too. It was weirdly profound for for a forum full of people comparing their life failures. The creative solution. So where did the conversation go from there? This is my favorite part. Someone suggested he become a novelist. A novelist? Based on what? Based on the fact that he could articulate his situation so clearly. The original poster was like, I could try writing, though I don't know if I'm any good. And people started getting genuinely excited about this idea. That's actually not crazy. Some of the best writers have the most messed up backgrounds. Exactly what they said. Someone pointed out that creators often have terrible backgrounds because it gives them material. Another person mentioned how most protagonists in stories are too perfect, and a main character with anger issues might be refreshing. I love how this thread transformed from "my life sucks" to maybe your terrible life is actually your superpower. The isekai suggestion. And then, because this is a Japanese forum, someone inevitably suggested he write isekai. You know, those transported to another world stories that are huge in anime and manga right now. Oh my god, of course they did. Someone literally said, a guy with your profile should go to another world. And others started talking about how popular exile and reincarnation stories are. They were like, use your terrible life to write about being kicked out of society and starting over. That's so specific to Japanese internet culture. Your life is so bad, you should write about escaping to a fantasy world. But honestly, it's not the worst advice. These stories are incredibly popular because they appeal to people who feel like outcasts in regular society. The bigger picture. What strikes me about this whole thread is how it started as this incredibly depressing list and somehow turned into people giving genuine career advice, right? And someone even pointed out that this guy managed to get people engaged and responding to his post, which is a skill in itself. Like, he might feel completely isolated, but he actually connected with strangers on the internet. It's interesting how anonymous forums can sometimes be more supportive than real-life interactions. These people don't know him, so they can focus on problem-solving instead of judging. And there's something uniquely Japanese about this whole thing. The way people systematically compared their situations, the practical approach to welfare, the immediate jump to creative solutions. Plus the fact that being banned from Hello Work is apparently a thing that can happen. That's so specifically Japanese bureaucracy. Nyahari, the unsolved problems. The thread ended with someone noting the two things that still can't be fixed: baldness and mental health issues. They said even AI can't solve those problems yet, which was this weird moment of acknowledging the limits of human progress. That's depressingly realistic. Like, we can suggest creative careers and welfare applications, but some problems just exist. But you know what? Even with all these massive problems, the thread didn't end in despair. People were genuinely trying to help, offering practical solutions, and even finding ways this guy's terrible experiences could become strengths. It's like they took his list of everything wrong with his life and tried to flip it into a character development arc, which is exactly what good storytelling does, isn't it? Final thoughts. So what happened to the original poster? Did he take any of this advice? That's the thing about anonymous forums. We'll probably never know. But what's amazing is that this one person's moment of desperation became this weird group therapy session where everyone started problem solving together. And it shows how different cultures approach rock bottom. This very Japanese mix of formal politeness, brutal honesty, and practical solutions. Plus the internet's ability to turn any situation, no matter how dire, into potential content. Your life is so bad, it would make a great story is such a modern response to suffering. Maybe that's not entirely wrong, though. Sometimes the worst experiences do make the best stories, and sharing them can help other people feel less alone. True, this guy probably had no idea his list of problems would end up inspiring strangers to give him career advice and life philosophy. Sometimes rock bottom is just the foundation you build on.